Hey guys, Andrew here from Team Triple Drive, and today we're talking about my Bermuda Triangle Harmony deck. Now this is an update video because I've had a new card since then. Most of it's pretty much the same. But I'll take you through the whole deck and tell you what changes I've done and why. So of course, I'll start off with the starter, and well, the starter has kept the same, just still first lesson Akari. Now I still use this card because it's Generation Break skill, which is when it's in Harmony, choose a card, you put this card into Soul, choose a card, and add to hand and draw a card. It's still pretty good. It is an extension of what Lauris, the grade 3 does on Stride, but I still like what it does because it allows me to have instant hand advantage for each one down the road. Starts the same, and out for my trigger lineup, I still run the 8 crit, 4 heal, and 4 stand. Bearing in mind, these 4 crits and these 4 heals are all different heals and crits. I run the different ones because mainly for the grade 3 Olivia I run the deck, which allows the get this effect to go off much easier. But I still run pretty much the same lineup. I still run Dreaming Dreamer Crook because its skill is very good because it has bounce units to get another attack in, and I still run Cherish Phrase Rainer because, what can I say, it's a very good card for instant draw power. That goes to Lauris. That is basically my trigger lineup. So for grade 1s, grade 1s have actually changed slightly, but very, very little. And the main difference is I'm running 2 Dual Power Cell Kura and 1 Magical Yell Nina. Now I run 3 different cards, these 2 different cards, because, well, one, they do the exact same skill, which is when it's placed in Vanguard Circle, Soul Blast 2 to counter charge 2. But I call it for ones because, again, of the grade 3 Olivia I run in the deck, that was skill to go off so much easier, and, well, pretty much makes the deck slightly cheaper to build overall, and that gives nice variety to the deck itself. But that's what I run in my grade 1 lineup. That's the main difference. The rest of it, as in the 4 Shizuku, the 3 Shandi, and the 4 Perfect Girls Kakuri, I still run the same as like that because I think this lineup is quite solid. I am thinking of messing around with the lineup a bit, but putting in 2 Puma, I'm not entirely sure. That is basically my grade 1 lineup. That really has not changed that much at all. So for my grade 2 lineup, I actually run 4 different types of grade 2s. And the first 2 you're familiar is Ideal Walking Weather Amelia. But I also run 2 Magical Charge Rater, 3 Unbelievable Potpourri, and 3 Wonder Girl Nanoka, and Wonder Thrill Nanoka, sorry about that. And now, the Potpourri and Amelia I run before in the deck, and you all know why I run them in the deck. I use them mainly so 1 Amelia for the Counter Blast 1, bounce back to hand, draw power and resist, and Potpourri as it's one of my main cards I use to bounce with. Now the other 2 cards, Nanoka and Vita, I run for different reasons. Nanoka I run mainly because I've had a Hypophony. Instead of having a grade 3 on the field, you can call it Nanoka because that's 13k, and difference between 13 and 15k doesn't matter in terms of guarding, unless you're against a 10k Vanguard. But I find that it's better to use this card because it has skill, which is first of all the Harmony skill, and when this unit is in Harmony, and it hits the Vanguard, you may counter charge 1 and then you may add it back to hand. Which means when it hits, I can counter charge, which has me use Counter Blast for further skills down during that turn, and if I want to, I may add it back to hand for extra protection. Usually I don't, because usually the stand trigger is behind it, which will bounce it back to hand regardless anyway. Now I run Magical Charge Vita for one reason or another. I almost didn't run this in the deck, but I have been eyeing it up while the set was being revealed. And I finally chose it because what it does is Generation Break 1, you may Soul Blast 1, during either main phase for either player. You may Soul Blast 1, you may add it back to hand, choose a grade 1 lower card, call it to Vanguard Circle, and that's what it does at the end of the turn. Now I use this card because what I can do is, like when I get Generation Break 2, when I have Lauris as a Vanguard, I can during your opponent's phase, I can Soul Blast one to add it back to hand, and call out a Shizuku behind it, which allows me to +1 card with a grade 3 surge if I find one. And also on top of that, it allows me to give the Vanguard 5k and give another front row 5k, which means that's 5 against 16k Vanguard. Also, the other part of the skills I forgot to mention as well is if you have a grade 4 Vanguard, it countercharges. But as I said, I don't use it for that skill. But I'm quite happy with it nonetheless. So I'll move now to the grade 3 lineup. And the grade 3 lineup I run is slightly different. I run 2 Cheerfully Etoile Olivia. I run still the 4 Miracle Voice Lauris. And I also run the 2 Sincere Girl Liddy. Now, I run this lineup because, firstly, Lauris is still the core of this deck. Lauris makes the entire deck work, and I run Liddy in essentially to find Lauris, which is completely understandable. But also run I run Cheerfully Etoile Olivia because, well, I really like the card. I have to be honest with you, I really like how the card works. And what it is, it's got its main skill, which is number against 5,000 power per number face-up Olivias you have in your G zone, which means it can swing for 31k at a time. And the second skill is when you stride into School Etoile Olivia, you may check the top 7 cards of your deck. If all the cards have different names, you may choose to call out to the guard circle, then choose a card from your hand and put it into your soul, which means instant field. And I run it because, well, waifu material. I run it because I want to. One thing I know, Liddy is a far better card to use because I actually just search for Lauris more easier. But I really like the card, and what can I say? I like what I like. So that was my main deck. As I said, nothing much has really changed, but stuff I have changed, I've explained to you and said why. So into my strides. So I'm going to go into my lower rarity strides first, because I think it's far better. And I run 1 Lucky Rise of Brina, 1 Flying Mermaid Frederica, and 1 Fluffy Ribbon Somni. Now I run these 3 because, well, Lucky Rise of Prina it's got amazing ability, which is Soul Blast 1, choose 2 units and return to hand, which is in the Vanguard circle, as an axe skill, which allows you to pull off many combos, you want. Fluffy is still in deck because it's still a good on-hit, bounce unit back to hand, call out the Regal Sub gains 3k. But I also run Flying Mermaid Frederica. I run Flying Mermaid Frederica for 2 reasons. One, it does pretty much the same thing as Somni. It's an on-hit, turn a card in your G-zone face up. When your deck hits, we choose a card that is in harmony, bounce it back to hand, and choose a card from hand, call it out to Regal Circle. Then if that card becomes in harmony, gains 5,000 power at the end of the turn. Although getting the 5,000 power is a bit tricky, I don't really use it for that. The main reason is to turn the card face up, get the Judgment Breakthrough off immediately. And usually I'll use it to turn up a card such as Sabreeze or whatever. And that's what I use it for. I think it's pretty good, as it also lets me set up for other cards later on down the line, as you'll see. So that's for those 3 cards. I also run in the deck 3 Celebrate Voice Lauris and 4 School Etoile Olivia, 1 in SP still. I am never getting rid of this card. I run Celebrate Lauris. You run School Etoile Olivia because obviously it's got the fast Aquaforce-like turns, which means I can rush your opponent really quickly in that turn, and usually I can kill him off on the second Olivia turn. And when if both the Olivias don't want to fish him off, I use Celebrate Lauris. Or what Celebrate Lauris does is it has an axe skill which once per turn, which you Counter Blast 1, you bounce the number of cards in your hand equals the number of cards face up in your G-zone. G-zone, sorry. Which, after you use Olivia, And Frederica, you're going to have at least 6 cards face up in G-Zone anyway. Actually, sorry, at least 7. Because its skill also turns a copy face up. And you bounce back to hand, you can call out, and then its secondary skill is, when its unit attacks, if all units on the field is in harmony, this allows you to choose 3 units, give them 5,000 power each, and the Vanguard gains an extra critical. And this means in fact that it doesn't have to have the entire field bounce back. This means the whole field doesn't have to do it as long as all the units on that field. So you'd have 4 units in the field. As long as they're in harmony, its skill is still active. This, in my opinion, is very, very good. I do quite like how this card works. As I said, it creates massive column powers, which after the rush of Olivia, they're not going to survive that much, honestly. Also, I run, finally, for the rest of the cards of 16G Zone, I run the obvious Once a Breeze. Once a Breeze. They run 2 Hand in Hand Leona, 2 Sailors Medley Nasher, and 1 Metal Element Screw. I run some Breeze for the obvious reason. I'm playing a G deck, so I need to get Generation Break Off. So it's trying this card to get Generation Break Off. If the opponent stays in grade 2. That's what I use it for. I run Hand in Hand Leona because what it can do is has the ability of, when you go into your unit, choose a card, bounce it back to hand. If you use that on your field, bounce back to hand. If you use that card to guard with afterwards, that card will gain 5,000 power, regardless what the card is. So if you bounce a trigger back to hand, that's instant 15k guard. If you bounce a grade 3 to hand, that's 5k guard, which allows you to get massive, basic 30k guard. I've learned you can create funny combos, not particularly in this deck, but in the Prism deck, where I've got this card to get my Gay Prism Vanguard to 44k by just G-guarding once. But that's another video for another time. And unfortunately I don't actually own Prisms anyway. But I do quite like this card because it allows you to do plays and allows me, for example, if I G-guard into it, to have a grade 3 in hand in order to stride next to it. There's a guaranteed stride next to it from the field. I also run 2 Sailor Medley Nasher, which is when you G-guard in this card, reveal a card which is the same grade as a card in the field, including the Vanguard, and it will gain 5,000 power. And because you have a massive hand, you're pretty much guaranteed to have the card that you reveal, which is good. I also run Metal Element Scry because I said it's Bermuda Triangle. You're going to run a massive hand. And in that position, Scry is good because you use a discard a card to gain extra 10k guard. It's basically there because why not? But it has some of its uses. And well, that's my Bermuda Triangle deck. Now I'm going to show you a combo with Lauris, which is quite interesting actually. Back in a bit. So let's say for example you got a field like this, and during your previous turns you went through both your Olivias and your first Vanguard Stride, and you get to the point where you can use your Laurises now, your Lauris Strides. So it also looks like this. It's okay. And so for this combo to work, you feel, as I said, pop Bruni in the front, or card with Harmony in front, Shizuku in the back, preferably. You'll need 2 face-up Cat Blast, but I'll be using 3 in total, 1 face down, just to show you what that can do. And you need a hand that looks like this. A grade 3 to stride with, Vita in hand, which you would go off back in hand from your last turn, move off during your opponent's turn. And Wonderful Noka, Stand Trigger Juju Cook, and a grade 1, a booster card base preferably. Magical Yell Nina would do for this turn, for all this. So the first thing you do is you choose a grade 3 from hand, and you discard it to stride. And you'll stride into Celebrate Voice Lauris. Now, due to the way Harmony on Stride works, because this card has Harmony and this card has Harmony, or mainly because this card has Harmony, both units are now in Harmony. So you could choose your order the Stride skill go off first, or the Harmony skill go off first. So you say, for example, the first thing you want to do is get the Harmony skill to go off first. So you check top 5 cards. And for example, you get top 5, each find a grade 3. Now you add that to hand. And you show it back in deck, which for the reason I put it at the bottom of the deck, because that will do. And then you activate the skill of Miracle Voice Lauris, which means you'll counterblast 1, to add this card back to hand, and you will draw a card. So that already gives you a +2 already. Then what you do is you call out the field you want to have, so you'll call out Wonderful Denoka here, and you can call out Shizuku out again. This column's out in Harmony. This card skill activates, you check the top 5 cards for a grade 3. You check top 5, and you find a grade 3 down at the hand. And of course you show the back of deck, which again, I'll put at the bottom of the deck for now. Also that, and you can activate Lauris' skill. Since you have, as I showed you already, 6 cards face up in the G zone, you could counterblast 1, turn a card in the G zone face up, so for example, Flush with Insomni, and you can bounce up to 6 cards back to hand. Here we go, circles. So when I have 3, I can bounce all 3 back to hand. And I recall the units back out. So you'll call, so you call your front row first, obviously, so you call Wonderful Denoka here, and Unbelievable Popularity. So guarantees you'll have Harmony in all 3 columns. And you'll call out Stand Trigger, which makes this column Harmony. You'll call out Especially on the inner, which will make this column Harmony. And you also call out your superb new student Shizuku, this column Harmony. This card's skill activate. So obviously you can Soul Blast 2 to unflip 2. Flip 2. I should have done it earlier, but oh well. And this card's skill can activate. So you check the top 5 cards of the deck, search for a grade 3, and add back to hand. Uji adjustment cards in full. And so that is your field now set up for the attacking turn. So the first thing you do is you attack with this column first, which is your weakest column of 13k. You attack that, and if it doesn't hit, you basically bounce this card back to hand regardless anyway if it doesn't hit. But for example, say here it does hit, you can counter charge 1. You can counter charge 1, and you may, this will go back into your deck to be shuffled. This card will turn back to hand anyway, and you could use this card skill of the stand trigger to put the deck to bounce this card back to hand and call it back out. As called back out, this column is yet again Harmony, so you can check the top 5 cards for grade 3, which find another one here, to add back to hand. I shall reverse back in the deck. And then here you attack your Vanguard. So since your Vanguard will attack, since all units are now in Harmony, its skill can activate, which you choose the 3 units, you choose the Vanguard and this Vanguard column, gain 5,000 power each, which will attack for a total of, in this case, 38,000 power. Steal triple drive and you get, 2 criticals as you always do in Vanguard. So these will be added, also added into your hand. And then you have this unit, and then you have this unit attacking, so let's say you give all the power to here. So if they survive 5 damage, that's ridiculous. So this unit column will attack, so that's going to go at you for 29,000 to Vanguard. And if it does hit, or your opponent is dead at this point, but if they survive, you can choose to add this card back to hand. And then you'll call out Magical Charge Vita back out on the field. At that point, you can end your turn. Just like this. So you end your turn, and then it's your opponent's turn. Opponent will stand and draw, stride, whatever he does, and activate at the beginning of the main phase. You can activate the skill of Vita, which means you Soul Blast 1 card, and then you can bounce this card back to hand. Call out your Superbly Shizuku back out, making this column in Harmony. So since the Vanguard is Harmony, the Vanguard gains 5k in crit. The crit doesn't particularly matter. And you can choose another unit in your front row, another rear guard against 5k as well. So choose this unit against 5k. So that's now a 16k base and a 14k base, which makes attacks a lot harder to do. Then Shizuku ability works because it's now in Harmony. You can check the top 5 for grade 3 yet again. And you can add this card back to hand. What I've essentially done there is I've created a setup. So next turn, so next turn, if I get lucky and actually get a stand trigger, I can actually do the skill. So I had a stand trigger in the first place, I could redo the whole turn again. Well, but either way, regardless, I can guarantee the next Lauris the next turn. And it ends up with your hand in total with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 cards in hand. Ready for your next turn. Obviously, minusing any cards that you guard with. Obviously, you were minusing any cards you guard with using your hand here anyway. So what do you guys think of this deck then? Do you think of like the improvements I made? Do you think I should change it more to make it more combo based? Tell us what you like about it, tell us what you don't like about it. And this is Andrew0572 signing out. Have a nice one. At some point in Team Triple Drive. Look.